Welcome to the RAM Report, Harriton's leading news program. Get ready for our second segment of History of Harriton, a report about cutting the Japanese class, a Black History Month report, and a cybersecurity PSA. That's all live right now from the Harriton High School television studio in Rosemont, Pennsylvania, with your anchors Natalie Golsey and Rhea Sharma. This is the RAM Report.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the RAM Report. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Rhea. First up is our second segment of History at Harriton.
Welcome to the second installment of History of Harriton High School. My name is Sam Franchik, and today we're going to be covering the old Harriton High School. But before that, we're going to do a quick recap of what we learned last time.
In 1697, William Penn gave land to Roland Ellis, who in turn sells it to Richard Harrison and Hannah Norris, who combine their names and call the property Harriton. Shortly following the baby boom, Lower Merion starts building Gladwin, Welsh Valley, and Harriton. Vincent Kling is hired to design Welsh Valley and Harriton in an innovative California campus style, and construction starts in 1957.
The school cost $3.5 million to build, which is approximately $37 million inflation adjusted. It had 46 classrooms and could fit up to 1,200 kids. It was built in front of where modern-day Harriton was. In fact, the student parking lot is where the upper gym used to be.
If we look at it on a map, you'll see that the school covers the current tennis courts, field, and student parking lot. This school also had a large courtyard-type area in the middle. Inside this quad were tombs, which were open-aired concrete seating for students. This school had a very similar design to Welsh Valley Middle School. The school itself had 4 different buildings: the junior-senior building, the sophomore building, the physical education building, and the common building, which housed the cafeteria, auditorium, and music room.
First principal of the school was Wilfred B. Wolcott, Jr. When this school first opened, they had no school colors, they had no school teams, they had no clubs, they had no school traditions. Principal Wolcott addressed this by saying that they will evolve from the students themselves and that they had a lot of pioneering to do. The school at the time was only about 2/3 capacity, about 800 students, which means they couldn't carry some of the same courses as Lower Merion High School could. In fact, 3 of Harriton High School's original classrooms were just completely empty. Principal Wolcott was big on making sure Harriton High School was the best quality education in the area, a message that still rings throughout the entire Lower Merion School District to this day. Many students at the time described Harriton as being amazing due to the unusual campus style. When the school first opened, they didn't have a library, and most teachers didn't have desks in the school. Along with that, many students missed their friends from Lower Merion High School, which is where they were taken from. Thank you for watching part 2 of History of Harriton High School. For Harriton TV, I'm Sam Ferenchik. Back to the news desk.
Thank you, Sam Ferenchik, for the History at Harriton report.
Now as we continue our celebration of Black History Month, here's an educational Black History video.
Black history is everyone's history.
How would you describe your country?
The best way that I could describe America for someone who has never been is that it is a melting pot of many, many, many different cultures.
I would describe the UK as a country with lots of contrast. So you can go to a place like London, where I live, which is really, really diverse. You'll have like shops from all over the world. You have people from all over the world speaking different languages, and then you'll drive out like maybe 2-3 hours and then not see a Black person at all.
If I could describe my experience in Japan in 3 words, it would be fun, safe, and peaceful, to say the least. However, on the other hand, being included by Japanese community and being so ingrained into the tradition and culture has made me ignorant and oblivious to my own bloodline, ancestral history, and culture.
What is Black History Month?
I would describe Black History Month as a time for people to learn about the Black communities in the areas they live in, so the country, or even around the world.
In Brazil, we mostly do small events. It could be some artistic events, some speeches.
We celebrate historical Black figures who've had a huge impact in the world and also amongst Black people. When I first arrived here in Vietnam, people were not really familiar with Black History Month, so I thought it was important for us to engage the local people amongst the Black people here.
When do you celebrate Black History Month?
In Australia, Black History Month is actually based in July. I think that people outside of Australia probably don't know that there's a Black History Month here, and I think that that's not really a surprise. Black History Month here is centered, and quite rightly so, around the Indigenous population. Unfortunately, the relations between the government and Indigenous Australia is really not what it should be. Even in the sense of prioritising and amplifying the voices of Indigenous Australians, I don't really feel like we're there yet.
In America, we celebrate Black History Month during the month of February. It was originally only supposed to be a week long, and it was known as Negro History Week. But we decided to make it a month-long event because a week just wasn't enough.
We celebrate the Black History Month in November. The date is 20th of November. In Brazil, like for Black people, we are not pretty sure from where we are from, where we came from. So it's a way to celebrate all of the greatness that we have inside us and outside as well.
Just to give a depiction as to Japan's demographics, within Japan's population, only 2% of Japan's population are foreigners, and of that 2%, 80% of that 2% are foreigners from other Asian countries. Black History Month is not a nationally recognized thing. However, that does not stop us from taking our time to celebrate and remember our Black history within our community and outside our community. For Black History Month, Legacy Foundation Japan will be working with Monique Marianne, the heart behind organizing Black History Month events here in Japan for over 10 years.
When did you start learning about Black History Month?
I originally heard about Black History Month in elementary school, but our teachers did not really take advantage of Black History Month.
To be honest, like in Canada, there isn't much of a Black history curriculum at schools. We kind of go through like Martin Luther King, like a brief mention of Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela and the Underground Railroad because it came through Canada, but beyond that, it was kind of it.
A lot of the time when we learn about history, it's very, very whitewashed, and even when we do learn about Black history in school outside of Black History Month, there's not really that much of a focus.
If we learned about Black history, it wasn't, a lie. It was just like there was slavery and there was a little bit of the civil rights movement, but we didn't learn it as in depth as we learned white history.
What historical figures or events do you celebrate during Black History Month?
Notting Hill Carnival is a really important event that takes place at the end of August, but it actually started after there were race riots in West London. So in like the late 50s and early 60s, there was a huge influx of migration from the Caribbean after the war, and that obviously led to racial tensions. So the carnival was kind of like in response and like a celebration of West Indian culture in London.
There have been a number of first Blacks here in Japan. Chris Hart, he's from Bay Area, San Francisco, and he is a J-pop artist here in Japan.
One of the biggest historical events for Black History Month that was very important for America was the Civil Rights Movement. During the Civil Rights Movement, there were many marches, protests, and other events that helped to shape America the way we know it today.
Black people have had a huge impact around the world, and it's important to know that because sometimes there's a negative narrative about Black people, especially through the media.
For literally hundreds of years, Black people have been silenced in America. We were first silenced when we were kidnapped and brought here as slaves to work for free.
I feel that as an immigrant, especially one that got their citizenship that easily, I think that it's an obligation upon me to go and learn about the history of this country.
Growing up in the UK as a Black person, there is sometimes a consensus that being Black kind of makes you not British, which is completely not the case at all. And I think learning Black history, I've realised that Black people have been so pivotal to the making of the country. They continue to be really, really important to the country.
Black people are everywhere in the world. Like, it's not just in the States, it's not just here. It's like every country has a Black community and like a story to go along with that Black community.
When people know our history, they can understand more about our resiliency and how far we've come and the things that we've endured and how we continue to keep going.
Thanks to the Power Scholars. Today in Advisory, you will be continuing to work on the coloring activity that was started on the 7th.
Next up, we have a report on the current plans to cut the Japanese class from the LMSD curriculum.
Over the past 20 years, Lower Merion School District has taught 4 main foreign languages: Spanish, French, Latin, and Japanese. Last month, the Lower Merion School District School Board decided to stop teaching Japanese in LMSD schools. This means that Lower Merion School District will exclusively be teaching what are called Romance languages, which means that they're derived from Latin. It's also important to note that Romance languages are primarily spoken in European countries. In September of last year, Harriton lost its beloved Japanese teacher, Mrs. Nakamura, to cancer. Due to Lower Merion School District not being able to find a certified teacher to take her place, they are planning to remove the language. In late January, Ava Mazzoni, a Harriton student, created a Change.org petition to, quote, keep Japanese alive. Since then, this petition has garnered almost 1,900 signatures from people in the community. At last week's curriculum committee meeting, multiple Harriton students showed up and expressed their feelings regarding the removal of the language.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ava Mazzoni. I go to Harriton, and I'm a senior there. It is beyond integral for a place of learning to represent its diverse student groups, and LMSD places large emphasis on making sure learning is global and not Eurocentric. However, when it comes to the languages offered, they are Eurocentric. Removing Japanese would render the high schools to only offer Latin, French, and Spanish, which are all Mediterranean European languages. Japanese is a language that allows students who don't otherwise see their culture throughout the school and represented to interact with and introduce their friends to it, as well as giving students the option to learn an Asian language. On top of this course is a legacy of our beloved teacher Nakamura-sensei, and she worked so hard to teach us a beautiful language. I want her legacy in our district to be preserved and remembered.
Hi, my name is Nico Lidi. I'm a senior. I'm at Harriton. It's a class that goes past just language learning. It's about culture. It's about diversity. And it's very important, I think, that we look at this as more than just a class. It's an experience that's very unique to our school. We don't have many other classes, if any, for Asian culture. And it's just important that we take that into account, I think.
Also at the board meeting, Dr. Yeni responded to these students saying the following.
So the question was asked, have we looked for appropriately certified teachers? And so I want to go through the different organizations that I talked to. So we started with the Pennsylvania Department of Education. There are 3 certified Japanese teachers in the state. All 3 are currently working in other districts. I spoke with a representative at the Delaware Department of Public Instruction as well as the New Jersey Department of Public Instruction to see if there were any leads on potential teachers. I talked with the Delaware Valley Teachers of Japanese, and I have another call set up with them on Thursday. I talked to the a representative from the American Association of Teachers of Japanese at Georgetown University. The thing that I hear over and over again is we have a pipeline to get teachers certified, but we don't have certified teachers. Just want everyone to know that we have spoken to multiple organizations, and it does not appear at this moment that there is someone that would be appropriately certified in Pennsylvania for the position.
Although the future of Japanese at Harriton is unknown, it's impossible to ignore its profound impact on students, alumni, and the community. For Harriton TV, I'm Sam Ferenchik. Back to the news desk.
Thanks to Sam Ferenchik for that informative report.
Remember to buy your Dr. Harriton 2024 tickets for the show on March 1st. Tickets can be found at harriton.org, in the cafeteria at lunch, or the link down below.
With that will be all from us today. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Ria, and this is the RAM Report.